Hymir, a giant in Norse mythology, is best known for his involvement in the tale of Thor's fishing expedition to capture Jormungandr, the colossal Midgard serpent. This story is a classic myth of strength, rivalry, and the perpetual struggle between the gods and the giants, who embody the chaotic forces of nature. Hymir lived in a remote, icy wilderness, his hall standing alone in a bleak and forbidding landscape. He was famed for his immense strength and a temper that could match any storm. Among his treasures was a massive cauldron, large enough to brew ale for all the gods in Asgard. This enormous cauldron became the reason for Thor's journey to Hymir's hall, as the gods required it to prepare ale for a great feast hosted by Aegir, the sea giant. Thor, the god of thunder, embarked on this mission with his usual boldness. Upon arriving at Hymir's hall, he was greeted by Hymir's mother, or wife in some versions, who was hospitable and kind. She welcomed Thor and warned him of Hymir's suspicion and fiery temper. When Hymir returned to the hall, he was far less welcoming. His mistrust of Thor was clear, and he begrudgingly allowed him to stay, though the tension between them was palpable. The next day, Hymir decided to test Thor's strength and resolve. He invited the thunder god to join him on a fishing trip, confident that Thor would not be able to match his skill at sea. Hymir's prowess as a fisherman was renowned, and he sought to prove that even the mighty Thor was no rival to him. When they set out, Hymir caught whales with ease, showing off his skill and mocking Thor's efforts. Thor, however, demanded they venture into deeper waters, where far more dangerous creatures dwelled. Reluctantly, Hymir agreed, though he scoffed at Thor's ambition. For bait, Thor used an ox's head, surprising Hymir with the bold choice. But Thor's plan was clear, his target was Jormungandr, the world serpent, a creature so massive it encircled the earth. As the bait sank into the depths, an ominous calm spread across the ocean. Suddenly, the stillness was shattered as Jormungandr took the bait, causing the sea to churn violently. Thor gripped the fishing line tightly, his immense strength countering the serpent's struggles. The battle was ferocious as Thor pulled Jormungandr closer and closer to the surface. When the serpent's enormous body broke through the waves, Thor prepared to strike it with his mighty hammer, Mjolnir. This moment was one of triumph for Thor, who had faced one of the most fearsome creatures in existence. However, Hymir was overcome with terror at the sight of Jormungandr and, fearing for his life, cut the fishing line. The serpent sank back into the depths of the ocean, escaping Thor's grasp. Thor was furious at Hymir's cowardice, but he restrained his anger. The two returned to Hymir's hall, where the giant decided to challenge Thor further. Hymir offered Thor his cauldron on one condition: Thor must prove his strength by shattering his drinking horn. Hymir believed the horn to be unbreakable, but Thor, wielding his unmatched might, succeeded in breaking it. Finally, Hymir declared that Thor could have the cauldron if he could carry it. The cauldron was enormous and impossibly heavy, but Thor lifted it with ease, placing it on his shoulders and carrying it back to Asgard. This feat left Hymir in shock and defeat, his strength and pride overshadowed by Thor's superior might. Hymir's story underscores the tension between the gods and the giants, reflecting the eternal clash between order and chaos. Thor's victory highlights his role as the protector of the gods and a force of resilience and courage. For Hymir, it is a tale of rivalry and humiliation, where his arrogance and hostility ultimately led to his downfall. This myth remains one of the most iconic episodes in Norse mythology, brimming with adventure, conflict, and symbolism.